Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking, our weekly call where we talk about how to become a better speaker. And today we're going to talk a little bit about our audience. And the topic today is the mirror method, reflecting your audience's dreams back to them. Reflecting your audience's dreams back to them. Now, this topic is advanced, and it is the secret, a very powerful secret that some of the head top speakers use, like Tony Robbins, like Les Brown, like Oprah Winfrey, even Martin Luther King Jr. used this method of reflecting dreams back. So this is really powerful, and you are ready for it. Okay, because you've been coming for a long time. This is powerful stuff. So I'm going to give you 6 ideas of this method. Okay, now they're not necessarily steps, meaning steps you have to do in order. So I'm not giving them to you as steps. You can do some of them, all of them, one or two of them. They're all powerful, or you could try to do them all if possible. So the first thing you want to do is speak to the identity that they want. Speak to the identity that they want. So instead of saying things like, oh, you should work harder to reach your goals, you want to speak to their identity. So you might say something like, I know many of you. I know many of you. You refuse to settle, so you're speaking to their identity. You refuse to settle. You're here because you believe you are meant for something bigger. Now, how many of you have heard Tony Robbins say something just exactly like that, right? I mean, always, you're made for bigger, you're made for more, you're smarter than you think, all this. We want to do that because why? We want to be bigger. We want to be smarter. We want to be richer, right? So that's what this means about speaking to your identity of the audience. What do they want to be? All right. So again, we don't want to say you, but we want to say, I understand, like I know you, and I know you want to be bigger. I know you have big plans for your life. Maybe they don't, but they want to, right? They want to, and that motivates them. It's like you're naming who they believe they are becoming, right? We've heard that phrase a lot from our mentors, right? Be who you want to be, or be who you are becoming, right? Same kind of thing, but we're projecting it out to our audience. We're naming what they believe they want to be. It almost like gives them permission to think that and to believe that, right? And so, what are they going to do when you speak like that? They're going to love you, they're going to listen to you. And, all we're doing is reflecting exactly what they want to hear. But so many times we get stuck in our own message, right? And this is what we want them to hear instead of thinking, well, what are their goals? And again, it's habit because everyday conversation, we may not do this. But what if we did? What if we did this to our children? You're meant for bigger things. You are enough. All right. So, number 2, describe the life they secretly want. We talked about their beliefs now, but now describe the life they secretly want. We all have a life that we secretly want or wanted at some time. And maybe many of us now are living the life that we wanted. We're living the dream. Have you ever heard that? Hey, how are you? Living the dream, right? you know, and maybe they are, and they should, and you should, everybody should. I don't want to say that word should. They say don't should on people, should on people, don't should on yourself. I should have done this and should have done that. We're capable of all of it, of living the dream. We all are capable. We all have the same type of things available to us. And it's not outside things. It's not money. It's what's in here. It's what's in our mind and what's in our heart, right? It's what's in our mind and what we say to ourselves and what's our heart. God gave us the power to create anything and everything we wanted, as long as it's His will, right? As long as it's within His will. Okay. So, number 2, describe the life they secretly want. Paint that picture so clearly that they see themselves in it, right? So, Caldine, imagine yourself on stage in front of 2,000 Christian people. I
Mhm.
know, right? 2,000 people. And you're standing up there on the stage, the lecterns to your right, and you are delivering this powerful message.
Wow.
People, even though they're Christians, they are convicted and they're crying and they come back to dedicate their lives to the Lord and ask for forgiveness of their fellow persons and God Himself. And
Wow. What
yeah,
a service that would be. What a meeting.
so I got tingles. Yeah,
Yeah.
what we want to do to our audience is imagine that they're in the, so like, you know, imagine you woke up energized this morning, ready to go, right? All of that kind of thing. I remember I was listening to something with Steve Harvey, and he said, you don't have to go to work. You get to go to work.
Yes, yes.
You get to. So, and all we do, I get to go to work out. It's not, oh, I gotta go work out. No, every morning I get to. I wake up, it's another day, I get to go work out. Luana, you get to do a podcast. You get to do another podcast. You get to read another book, right? Jackie gets to go on another walk,
Yes. Mhm.
right? And we get to, and that's what we want to, that kind of feeling is what we want to share with our audience to get them, you know, get them motivated, get them loving life, get them, hey, it's not so bad, because we all have bad days. So now the audience thinks that's exactly what I want. I want to be energized. I want to go to work. I want to go work out. I want to do this, right? So you've just mirrored it and said that. That's exactly what they want. Number 3, use, and I've said this before on a couple of calls before, use more of the you attitude. Don't say, don't be talking except for your professional story, of course. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the body. This is all about content right now. We're in the content of the meat of your speech. So use more of you rather than I. I did this, I did this, I did this. The only time you're doing I is in your professional story. And once that's over, do a lot of you. So one of the exercises I want you to do is look at your signature talk and just see in the body, is there a lot of I's? Whether it's another story you put in there, or if it's I did this examples, because we tend to do that. Here's an example. I went to the store and I bought bananas, or whatever it might be. Look and see if your stories or your proof or your backup to support your points might have a little bit more I in it than you, and change it to you, because the average speaker always talks about themselves. The average speaker, not the Tony Robbins and the Les Browns. Well, Les Brown does talk a lot about himself, him and his mama, right? And it works for him. So there's always exceptions, but for most of us, we want to make sure that we're talking about not ourselves, but we're talking about them. Great speakers always talk about the audience, not about themselves. And you're all great speakers. You are all great speakers. So So maybe here's an example. So instead of saying something, when I started my journey, when I started my fitness journey, or when I started my speaking journey, or whatever, say something different like, some of you here know exactly how it feels to blank, right? Many of you here know exactly what it feels like to start a fitness journey after you've never, hit the gym in a year, or whatever. Some of you know what it's like to try to start over. Some of you know what it's like, to muster up enough courage to get on a podcast. Instead of you saying, I had to muster up enough courage to do a podcast, it's some of you here know exactly what it feels like to start a podcast, right? See the difference? Just a tweak in how you say it. And then they go, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Some might go, well, I don't know. But none of them are going to say it if you say I. All right. So now they feel understood, the ones that's happened to, right? Now they really feel understood. Yeah, they understand me. Yeah, they know what it's like. Okay, number 4, acknowledge their struggle. Acknowledge their struggle. We all have struggles, all of us, right? We all have seasons in our business and in our personal life, right? I went through a big, I'm sure you all know what it's like to go through a winter season, right? We've all done it. We've all had that. And then we've all had spring seasons and summer seasons that are really exciting, and fall where we're harvesting, and maybe we are gathering more money, and business is good, and we're networking and we're speaking, right? We're building up all that, and then poof, summer, then we get to relax and go on vacation and enjoy life. So acknowledge their struggle. Dreams only matter if you validate the difficulty. Dreams only matter if you validate the difficulty in getting that dream, right? So acknowledging it maybe looks something like you've sacrificed, right? You've sacrificed, you've worked hard. I mean, I've often said for everything you get, you give up something. It's the truth. Think about it. Think about everything that you've got, right? If you want to work out, you're going to give up some time. Doing what? Maybe it's sleep. So I have to get up real early in the morning. I give up sleep. I might give up some business. So everything you get, you give up something. Now, of course, when we buy things, we give up money and money energy. But for everything you get, you give up something. If you go on vacation, you're giving up money, you're giving up time, you're giving up time with your dog or whatever it might be. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, getting back to this, yes, I got off on a tangent. You want to let them know that you understand that they've sacrificed, they've pushed, through, and nobody else believed in them, and nobody else was watching, and you're doing a rah-rah, and sometimes you wonder if it's even worth it, right? So what are you doing? Now they're saying to themselves, that speaker knows me, that speaker understands me. I've struggled to get my dream. I've struggled to be where I am. I've worked hard, and yet sometimes I don't even know if it's worth it, right? How many of you have ever felt like that you've worked so hard and then you just kind of stop and go, is it really worth it? Yeah. Does anybody even notice? Right? Right. Me too. And that's what you want to do, give it. Yeah. Thank you, Tanya. Okay. All right. Number 5. This is a really good one now. Number 5. Connect the dream to the possibility. Connect the dream to the possibility, right? You don't want anybody to think that their dream's impossible. Some, people have impossible dreams, it sounds like, but is it really? I mean, even if somebody said, I want to go to the moon, right? It's possible. You know, there's an organization you've all heard of it called Make a Wish Foundation. They do the impossible. They make the impossible possible for a lot of little kids. You know, a lot of little kids. One little kid I remember at one point, he wanted to see Tony Robbins. You know, he was in a wheelchair, he was young, he wanted to see Tony Robbins, never thought it'd be possible. And that was his wish. Well, somebody made it possible. And not only did he see Tony Robbins, but he got to go up on stage with Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins helped him. And this boy only had like a year or something to live. Well, it touched Tony Robbins' heart. Tony Robbins, donated, money to him and his family, gave him his green drink, you know, and, I don't know, unlimited supply of green drink. Well, a year later, the kid is still alive. I don't know how the story ends now, but I only got it when I saw Tony Robbins myself. But then the kid came back and he was alive and he was supposed to be gone. So dreams can happen. So our job as the speaker is to make the impossible seem possible. Okay. Once they feel that they can do it and make it a reality, they're yours. I mean, they're yours. They're like, yes, anything is possible. I believe it. I believe anything is possible, right? Nobody would have thought that a 68-year-old overweight woman would ever be in a bikini contest. That's pretty impossible. And when I saw Ernestine Shepherd for the first time on TV, I said, that's what I want to do. And I did not listen to naysayers. My own twin brother said, sis, you shouldn't do that. I heard you're doing this. What are you doing? And he said, you might get hurt. And then he said, this is what kicked me in the butt. He said, you're too old. And I went, I'll show you, that kind of thing. So you're always going to have those naysayers, but our job is to get our audience to forget about them and have the voice of possibility so loud that they can't possibly believe the naysayers. So we might say something like, as an example, we might say, the reason you're here isn't by chance, right? It's not by random. It's not by a mistake. It's no mistake. It's because something inside you refuses to quit. Something inside you refuses to quit. And that voice, that little inner voice that we hear, that's the voice that creates transformation. This is what we want to say to our audience. The reason that you're here isn't a mistake. And a lot of us have said just that. I've said things like, you're the chosen ones to be here. You were chosen to be here. This is not by accident. It's not a mistake. You are chosen to be here. You are in the right place, which is one of the things I always recommend that you say after your beginning, right? When you say, hey, how many of you want this, whatever? And they say, me. And you say, great, you're in the right place. Because for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you how you can get XYZ. Right? Subtle, but it's the same thing. All right. Number 6, use the actual mirror formula. The mirror formula. It's a simple structure. Many other speakers use, right? I didn't make the formula up. This is not one of mine, but it's simple, right? And it's dream, and it's what we've been talking about. Dream to struggle to the identity to the possibility. So we start with their dream, talk about their struggle. Remember, I know how it feels. I know what it's like. right? And then identify what it is they want, and then it's possible. You can get it. Dream, struggle, identity, and possibility. And you could say things like, if you want more from life, you need to, oops, hold on. I got to plug in my, uh, can you hear me now? Okay. I went back to my old Yeti, but I couldn't find the cord. So I got a little tiny cord from something and had to order one on Amazon. Okay. Okay, so just unplugged. Okay, so you might say something like you want more out of life and you're tired of playing small. You know that deep down, you're capable of greatness. You're capable of anything. And the fact that you're here proves that you've already started on that path. It's that easy. Hi, Dawn. How you doing? Welcome. All right, so that's the formula. So, what you want to make sure that you do when you do now, there's going to be a section that you're going to do this throughout the content. This is where this goes. But you're going to do a little bit of it in the beginning, like to set them up, and then you're going to do some of it at the end. So, the beginning, you're going to put in what? You're going to put in the dream, paint the dream, let them know you're struggling, right? And toward the end is where you're going to do the identity and the possibilities because you're going to do it right before you close. Let them know. In between, you're going to teach them your key points of whatever it is. So if it's health and you're teaching them about, you know, different colors of vegetables and fruit and stuff like that, then again, you've identified what it is, and maybe it's their health, and then the possibilities that no matter how old they are, they can turn around their health. And you might give examples of people that have done that. So, or, self-cured from something that ails them. Got it? Okay, good. All right, so that's how you mirror it. That's a lot. I want you to review the notes because I said a lot. You might want to come back tomorrow morning and review this recording because this is powerful. Again, this is what's going to help you sell, sell, sell without selling, without being, sleazy salesperson. Just mirror back what they want. Give your audience what they want. But we just have to make sure we're doing it in a way that they can get it. Like the you formula. You, I get you. I see you. I know what you want to do, right? That kind of thing when we are teaching and that and identifying their possibilities and all that. Remember, it's about them. And a lot of times as speakers, we forget that. We just make it about all our content. We're so wonderful. And why aren't you working with us? You know you should. And I'm guilty as anybody of it, right? I get all wrapped up into, here's what we're going to do. And then they go, no, I don't want it. And it's because I didn't identify well with them and what they wanted and what was possible, right? They're there because what they want hope. And I've talked about this a million times, and that is that audiences want help. I'm trying to go to another part of my notes. Um, okay, well, I can't find it now, but overall, we're giving them hope. We're giving them hope what? That they can live their dream, that they can accomplish their dream, that they can have their dream, that everything is possible. Nothing's impossible at all. People just need permission a lot of times to pursue their dream because they might think it's selfish or self-serving or that it's too big or that they're too little or whatever it is. And a lot of times they just need that encouragement. And we're there as speakers to encourage our audience to move forward, take the next step, to reach for their dream, to jump for the stars and land on a planet or whatever. We can do anything and everything. Got it? Good. All right. So let's open it up and let's talk about any questions you might have, any comments you might have. We've got a few minutes. Let me see. How many minutes do we have? 15 minutes? Yeah, I think 15 minutes or so. Okay. Anybody want to comment? Yes,
I
Ramona.
want to, usually when I check right after, like the next day, you don't usually have it posted. Um, your recording of the day, right, the next day. So do you think that you'll have that up?
Yeah, it's up the next day. We didn't do it last week because we canceled the call last week.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it should be up hopefully by 10 o'clock Pacific time
Oh,
tomorrow.
good.
Yeah,
That's very good. Lots of good information.
good. All
I
right.
what
Tanya.
stood out for me was connect the dream to the possibility.
Mhm.
We were all here. I had a couple of girlfriends who really helped me out for the party. So we all came to the beach house yesterday, and we're going to have like two more units in the building that are about to come up. So a lot of the girls, well, several of the girls were saying, you know what? I think I might want to do this too. So I was connecting the dream to the possibility of how they could do it. I never thought I could do it, and I did it. And now I'm helping them to see if this is something they want to do, they could do it. And so connecting the dream to the possibility was right on.
Yes, yes. And that would work really well for you, Tanya, with the dream of being financially free and being
Mhm.
able to travel and,
Yeah,
and being able to, do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is possible for them. You've seen it a million times.
yeah,
They're just stuck inside their own
yeah, yeah.
situation. But you've seen that the lady that, that you helped and that wanted to travel and in 3 years
Hmm.
out of debt and traveling and all that stuff. And
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, just
Yeah.
connect them to what's possible by sharing some of the other stories of other people you've helped.
Yeah, yeah. And they saw it. They were like, and they said, well, yeah, I think I can do this. Maybe if I increase my hours here, or they were starting to see, oh, and even a roommate situation, like, well, maybe I'll get a roommate. Because one of the girls, my niece, comes here maybe once a month and she has a roommate, but when her roommate is here, she's not here. So they split it, the monthly, and it works out. And they get a chance to have their dream lifestyle. So yeah. Mhm.
Nice.
That's it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Who else has a comment?
Well, I like the struggle is real.
Struggle is real.
Yeah, because I can relate. I was a single parent. I um, didn't go to high school. It was a struggle. I had to live on my own for a while. I was on public assistance. I had to beg and tell them, look, my daughter needs this. And then my daughter was an asthmatic, trying to go to college with her. There was no money, there was no food. I had no one to turn to.
Mm.
My mother didn't have much that she could give me, and it was just me and the Lord. Once I accepted Him into my life, and the struggle was real. I had to work. I went to college and worked two jobs, and would get home in the evening and pick her up from the babysitter at 10 and 11 p.m. And the cycle just went on until I finished school, and I immediately got a job with the post office. But the struggle was real, and my help came from God. I had to go through it. You have to go through the struggle to get to where you want to get to. It's real, it's reality. But
Right.
we can overcome, if you keep pushing, if you stay focused, you
Mm.
know. have your goals and your dreams. And, you know, it's going to be hard, but you got to hang in there. You can't give up. You
Right.
know, it took me some years to get to where I needed to get to, but it will happen. You know, you can get past this volatile relationship with this guy, you know, and if you can walk away, you know, it doesn't matter if he scares you or you're fearful, you can walk away. There's help, you know, we can walk through it together. I can show you how to do it, you know, but yeah, so it's that really resonates with me because I've gone through it. So,
Beautiful.
and I want to help someone to know that they can get through it.
Yeah.
You know, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, that there's glory up ahead.
And you're giving hope to the hopeless.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Good. Good. Beautiful. All right. Anybody else have a comment they want to share?
I was remembering something when Caldine was speaking. A friend years ago, after I graduated high school, I ended up having a child and receiving public assistance, which wasn't much, but someone I consider a really good friend needed to borrow some money. And I told them, I said, I don't receive enough money to be lending it out. I have a child to take care of. And that person said some of the worst negative things to me about how I was thinking of myself being better than anyone else. And in a few years, I was going to be worse off. And then I would have to be begging somebody for help and whatnot. And I remember when that person left, how hurt I was behind what they had said. But I'm glad that they did, because once I got myself together, I was determined I was not going to be worse in a few years. And that pushed me to get out and get a job. And I've been working ever since and doing just fine. Maybe not making the big bucks, but I've been able to pay my way, you know. But sometimes you have to hear those negative things in order to get you going. And for me, that was a growth opportunity, because I stopped feeling sorry for myself and thinking the world was against me, and actually got out and started doing something for myself.
Beautiful.
So that story, that this mirror method, I really like it, because I actually was already working on how I could put together something, and you just gave me everything I needed to do that, for this same purpose, and not talking about me, but the person out there, creating that individual who needs help, who's struggling and going through all these different things, and nobody's there to help them other than the critics, you know. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You were supposed to be here today, Luana. You and
Obviously,
Caldine.
I was getting upset because I couldn't find the link.
Well, keep the link, you know, in your computer somewhere, because it'll always be the same link. But like I said, I'm not sending out the phone text anymore. So the email still will go out, but keep that link, because anytime you want to talk to me or whatever, that's the meeting link we use. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I finally went to the contact. I go, I hope she hasn't changed this thing.
No.
So,
I'm
thanks.
still not getting the email, Arvee. I got the phone one, but I didn't get the email one.
Okay, and what's your email address that you want it to go to?
C Jackie Phillips at Gmail.
Okay, I talked to my assistant at Gmail about several of you, and she says, you know, she said that might be in the spam blockers, you know. Have you looked in your spam folders?
It used to come Gmail. It organizes things, and it used to come in promotions. So I checked promotions. I didn't check spam, so I'll go look in spam.
Okay, I'll double check again, but yeah, I did that a couple weeks ago whenever we had the conversation, so I'm at a loss. I don't know what. Yeah.
Arvee,
Yes. Yes.
For me, today I received the email when I had been going to spam the other weeks.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes when they go to your spam, you have to okay it or something for them to go through. I don't know. I get so much spam. All of us get so much spam anymore.
Yeah, it did go to spam. Thank you for reminding me.
Good.
So I
Okay.
think all I have to do is say it's not spam.
It's not spam and it should come through. Good. Phew. All right. Good. Yeah. You'll get the emails. I'm just stopping the text until May.
Okay.
I want to use them to promote this event, which, which takes a lot of texting and stuff too. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say or share before we end? Good. Okay. So next speech, take your notes. Try one of those techniques. Don't try all 6 of them. Just try one of them, even if it's just identifying the struggle, right? Do that. And then the next one, add another one and add another one until you kind of get used to. They're just changing your language a little bit. So instead of like saying I, you say, I understand your struggle. And then you could tell, yeah, your story. We've all had struggles, blah, blah, and then you can pop in your story, Claudine. But yeah. Okay. All right. Let me know how it goes when you test it out. Get tested out on lives as well as Zoom meetings, as well as any other time you speak. Podcasts, try it. Just try it. Okay. All right. Then we will see you back here next week. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it'll be good, whatever it is. All right. Okay. So get out there and speak. I want to hear about your speaking engagements. And when you do speak, remember to always speak with passion. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Arvee.
you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Goodbye. All.
Bye.